the Hollywood Unapologetic Podcast with Orlando Delbert, Filmmaking Essentials.
We're plunging into some fascinating source material today, exploring AI's impact on filmmaking.
That's right.
And specifically, if you're part of the new Hollywood generation, the creators navigating this shift, this is for you.
Definitely.
We're unpacking this core idea. Using AI well isn't just about commands. It's really about a specific type of thinking, intentionality, critical awareness.
And that landscape you mentioned, it's undergoing, massive disruption. The sources really highlight the scale.
Scale how?
Think about traditional Hollywood studios. Together, maybe 15,000 hours of content a year. Sounds substantial, right?
It does, yeah.
Until you compare it to, say, YouTube. They see uploads around 300 million hours every year.
300 million, that's hard to even picture.
It is. Over 720,000 hours daily. It just shows how user-generated content absolutely dwarfs traditional output now.
And the sources had a calculation on that.
Yes, quite startling. Just 0.1%, a tiny sliver of YouTube's annual volume. That's equivalent to the output of 20 Hollywoods.
Wow. 20 Hollywoods hiding in plain sight on just one platform. So the difference isn't just quantity anymore. It's about elevating the quality of all that content.
Exactly. And that's where AI comes in, according to the sources. It's positioned as this disruptive force.
How so?
By potentially bridging that quality gap, offering near Hollywood-level effects, polished technical capabilities, but at much, much lower costs.
Which speeds up the disruption we're seeing, changes who makes films and how.
Precisely.
Let's lean into that disruption idea. The sources connect AI and platforms like YouTube, Patreon, etc., to Christensen's theory, disruptive innovation.
Yes, that's a really useful way to frame it. Christensen's idea is that these innovations often start, maybe not going head-to-head with the big players.
You start smaller.
Smaller, niche, maybe seen as inferior initially. Simpler, cheaper, more accessible stuff. But they attract a new audience the incumbents missed.
Right.
Then they innovate fast. Really fast,
yeah.
And eventually they challenge the old guard.
So for filmmaking, that inferior start might have been early web series, maybe viral videos, simple stuff.
Could be. The new audience was online, bypassing cinemas and TV schedules. Platforms gave them reach.
And now AI is the fuel, letting those initially simpler things rapidly boost their technical quality.
Exactly, the excellent. And the economic disruption here is profound. Traditional filmmaking. Huge costs, especially below the line.
Right. DTL, that's all the non-star costs, basically.
Yeah.
Crew, equipment, sets, post-production.
All of that. Crew, gear, locations, catering, the technical post-work, it all adds up.
How much?
These BTL costs, plus other technical bits, can easily eat up 75% to 85% of the film's budget. On a big studio film, you could be looking at roughly $1 million per minute.
$1 million a minute.
It's staggering. AI fundamentally challenges this entire structure. Tasks that needed big crews, complex physical gear, expensive software. Many can now be automated, simulated, or generated synthetically.
Like visual effects.
Complex VFX shots, yeah. Creating digital sets, generating realistic B-roll, automating tedious post-production like rotoscoping. AI hits those big BTL costs directly.
And then there's the ecosystem disruption. Platforms letting creators connect directly with viewers, find different ways to make money.
Absolutely. Ad revenue, subscriptions, direct fan support on Patreon. It diversifies income.
Which lowers the risk.
It lowers the massive make-or-break risk of traditional studio films. Creators can tackle niche subjects, experiment more, build careers without needing huge upfront studio deals.
And that's the democratization the sources talk about. Smaller creators, indie voices, getting access to tools and audiences that were just impossible before.
The barrier for making polished content is dropping fast.
So the tools are there, becoming more accessible.
Incredibly powerful tools, yes. But, and this is the core argument where it gets really interesting for you, the new filmmaker, just having the tools isn't enough. Learning the prompts isn't the whole story.
Okay.
It demands a real shift in how you think, something rooted in understanding intentionality and applying serious critical thought.
So it's not just telling the machine, do this. It's more about understanding what the machine is actually doing and maybe why it's doing it.
Precisely. That's a key insight. These AI systems aren't neutral tools like a hammer. They are intentional creations.
Intentional how?
Their intentionality is coded right in the algorithms, the data they trained on, the network structures, the connections they make.
Okay, coded intentionality. So how does that actually show up when a filmmaker uses, say, an image generator?
The training data is huge. That data shapes the AI's protocols for making meaning. for deciding what counts as a good or relevant output based on the patterns it saw.
So when it designs a character or suggests a plot point,
It's drawing on those learned patterns and the objectives coded into it. It's not a neutral response to your prompt, it's filtered through its structure and history.
we've seen this with biases, haven't we? Image generators defaulting to certain looks or search results reinforcing stereotypes.
Exactly that. The AI validates its output using its own machine logic. That logic might not match up with human understanding or cultural nuances or your specific artistic values.
So a search engine might push popular links, reflecting bias. An image generator might lean into stereotypes if the data had them.
And these aren't bugs, necessarily. They're the AI's coded intentionality at work, interacting with learned patterns.
This feels like it really changes how you need to think critically when using these tools.
It absolutely does. The sources point out that generative AI impacts how we use our critical skills. For some tasks, initial research, drafting outlines, quick visual concepts, it feels easier, faster.
It seems to reduce the effort.
The perceived effort, yes. But the actual cognitive work doesn't vanish. It shifts.
Where does it shift to?
It shifts towards oversight, verification,
Yeah.
integration, evaluation. The AI might give you something in seconds, but then your real work starts.
Checking it.
Verifying it, checking for inaccuracies, those AI hallucinations where it just makes things up, evaluating if it actually fits your artistic intent, your values, is it coherent, then skillfully weaving it into your unique vision.
So the critical thinking moves from generating the idea to assessing what's been generated.
That's the crux of it. And here's a really crucial point from the research cited. If you have high confidence in the AI's ability to do the task well,
You trust it more.
you trust it more, and you're less likely to engage in that deep critical thinking about its output. You tend to accept it more readily.
That sounds like a potential trap, especially for filmmakers maybe dazzled by the tech.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
But interestingly, the flip side is also true. Confidence in your own ability to evaluate the AI's output, that's positively linked to critical thinking.
So believing in your own judgment is key.
It's paramount. Because AI, powerful as it is, can fabricate information. It can hallucinate data, make up evidence. It can definitely perpetuate biases from its training.
Hallucinating data or evidence. That's a major worry for creative work needing consistency or accuracy.
Huge concern. Imagine an AI generating script ideas with subtle historical errors, or B-roll that looks right but isn't, or a character generator tweaking looks in biased ways. This is why your clarity, your intentionality is vital.
Your clear vision acts as the guide rails.
Exactly. Effective prompting isn't just description. It's communicating your intent clearly to guide the AI's coded intent. But the real skill, applying your critical judgment to assess the output against your goals, your values, your standards for the film.
It's a loop then. Prompt, evaluate, refine.
A continuous loop, yes.
Okay, let's connect this directly to filmmaking. Where are we seeing AI used right now?
Oh, across many stages. Early ideation, brainstorming concepts, generating outlines, then visual pre-production, storyboarding,
Previs, that's like the rough animated plan for a scene. Camera angles, blocking.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Planning it out visually, AI can speed that up a lot. And post-production, AI is becoming almost indispensable there.
For what kinds of things?
Automated voice dubs, sophisticated color correction,
Yeah.
generating complex visual effects, even creating synthetic B-roll footage.
B-roll, the background shots, cityscapes, that sort of thing.
Right, the supplementary footage. AI can generate that now. Plus, localization, title sequences, even cutting trailers. It's touching nearly every technical and visual aspect.
You mentioned something called agile cinema earlier. What's the idea there? How does AI fit?
It's borrowing from agile software development. The idea of incorporating real-time feedback loops.
So getting audience reactions quickly.
Imagine generating multiple versions of a scene or different trailers, testing them, getting data on engagement, emotional response, and then rapidly iterating based on that feedback. A much faster cycle.
Using data to shape creative choices more dynamically.
Precisely. We see hints of this potential in things like 48-hour film festivals, where speed is everything. AI tools accelerate so many steps, making that kind of rapid, responsive filmmaking seem more feasible.
Looking across different types of films, are some genres more impacted by AI right now than others?
The sources suggest yes. Genres heavy on complex visuals, extensive world building, think science fiction, fantasy, action, adventure, horror, they seem particularly ripe for AI transformation.
Because AI is good at generating those visuals, creatures, environments.
Exactly. It can conjure those elements more readily than, say, the subtleties of human performance or intricate dialogue.
So comedy, drama, genres focused on human interaction.
They'll likely use AI for technical help, post-production, localization, sure. But their creative core. Less likely to be fundamentally transformed by AI generating the performances or nuanced interactions, at least in the near term. The human element is still central there.
But regardless of the genre, that need for critical scrutiny we talked about remains, even with all these applications.
Absolutely vital. Every single output from an AI tool, a visual asset, a line of dialogue, a suggested cut, needs that critical human eye.
Does it fit the vision? Is it consistent? Does it have weird biases baked in?
Exactly. Maybe biases in how characters are depicted or scenarios play out. You have to check.
Yeah.
AI hallucinations and visuals, weird artifacts, inconsistencies are also possible.
So human oversight isn't just a preference, it's necessary quality control and artistic direction.
It really is.
Yeah.
Plus, the sources touch on the broader ethical questions, too. The data these AIs are trained on, often scraped from the web, including work by creators. That raises serious questions about consent, copyright, fair use. Another complex layer for you, the new generation, to navigate critically.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. AI is clearly this powerful engine helping democratize filmmaking. It's lowering barriers, technical, economic, opening doors for new voices, this new Hollywood generation.
It absolutely is enabling possibilities that were out of reach before. But harnessing that power effectively, it's not just about becoming a prompt expert or automating tasks away.
It's that shift in thinking.
It requires that profound shift. Understanding you're working with intentional systems. Your success relies on guiding that AI intentionality with your clear vision, applying rigorous critical thinking to evaluate everything it produces for accuracy, coherence, bias, artistic alignment, and then thoughtfully integrating these tools while always maintaining your creative control.
So for you, the new generation of filmmakers, now armed with these incredibly powerful, intentional tools, and knowing the critical thinking they demand, the really profound question the sources leave us with is this: what stories previously impossible or maybe even unimagined will you now tell? And how will you ensure that it's your vision, your values, not just the machine's coded intentionality that truly shape the future of cinema?
You can find more insights on navigating the entertainment industry and achieving success in Orlando Delbert's work, including his book, Pollyanna's Tear-Soaked Battlefields of Hollywood, a survival guide against the cynicism and the hypocritical, and of course, the Hollywood Unapologetic platform. And always remember, you are the key to your own success. You are the new Hollywood generation.
Be informed, be prepared, and most importantly, be great.
That's it. Be great. Good luck out there.
See you next time.